Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the quadratic formula. Last week we learned how to solve simple quadratic equations by finding the square roots. This time we're going to introduce the quadratic formula as our way to solve the quadratic equations. So, if ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and a does not equal 0, then x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so let's work on some questions together using this formula. The first thing we need to do is establish what's my a, b, and c, okay, for all of them. So my a is going to be a and b are the coefficients in front of the x values, and c is the constant. So my a is 1, b is 5, c is 6. Now I'm plugging it into the formula. X is equal to negative b, which is 5, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 5 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 6, all over 2 times a, which is 1. Okay, and then we're going to be simplifying. So we have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 5 squared, 5 times 5 is 25, minus 4 times 1 times 6, which is 24, all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay, so we keep simplifying. So we have negative 5 plus or minus 25 minus 24 is 1. Okay, and then we have negative 5 plus or minus, the square root of 1 is 1, so over 2. Now I'm going to separate these into two answers. X equals negative 5 plus 1 over 2, and then x equals negative 5 minus 1 over 2. So negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4, divided by 2, negative 2. Negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6 over 2, negative 3. So my answers are negative 2 and negative 3. Okay? Moving on to the next one. X squared minus 2x minus a equals 0. A is 1, b is negative 2, c is negative 8. I'm going to start it over here. So x equals negative b, which is a negative 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so negative 2 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 8, all over 2 times a, which is 1. So 2 times 1. Okay? Negative, negative creates a positive. So we have x equals 2 plus or minus the square root. 2 squared is 4. Negative 2 squared is 4. Okay? Then we have minus 4 times 1. So negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 8 is positive 32. All over 2. Okay, now I'm going to combine these. So I'm going to go from here to here. So x is equal to, okay, 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus 32 is 36, all divided by 2. Keep simplifying. The square root of 36 is 6. Okay, now we split it into 2. X is equal to 2 plus 6 over 2, and x is equal to 2 minus 6 over 2. So we have negative 4 divided by 2, negative 2, and then 2 plus 6 is 8 over 2, which is 4. So we have 4 and negative 2 as our answer. Okay, let's go on to the next ones. Okay, so now we just have an actual number in front. So A is 2, B is negative 5, and C is negative 7. So we're plugging it into our formula. X is equal to negative B, which is negative 5, so negative 5, plus or minus the square root of B squared, so negative 5 squared, minus 4 times A, which is 2, times c, which is negative 7, all over 2 times a, so 2 times 2 in this case. Okay, negative 5, positive 5, plus or minus. The square root, negative 5 squared is 25. Okay, and then we have 4 times 2 is 14. Okay, times the 7 gives us 56. So we have plus 56, because a negative and a negative make a positive. All over 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so now we're combining 5 plus or minus. 25 plus 56 gives us 81, all over 4. So we have 5 plus or minus. The square root of 81 is 9. Okay, so now we are separating this into 2. So x equals 5 plus 9 over 4, and x equals 5 minus 9 over 4, which is negative 4 over 4, negative 1. 5 plus 4, 5 plus 9, sorry, is 14 over 4, okay? So if I divide both sides by 2, I get 7 over 2, which is 3.5. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So these are my 2 answers. Okay? Remember, you can pause the video at any time to write everything down, and you can replay the video as many times as you need, and you can email me with any questions. Okay? Last one, and then we're done. So our A is 2, our B is 4, and our C is negative 7. So x equals negative b, which is 4, so negative 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 4 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 7, all over 2a, so 2 times 2. Okay, so we have negative 4 plus or minus all over. Okay, 4 squared is 16. And then negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 7 is positive 56. 2 times 2 is 4. So we have negative 4 plus or minus. Now we add 16 plus 56 is 72. Okay. And then we have all of that over 4. So when it's not a perfect square root, we can type that into our calculator. So the square root of 72, right, is 8.48. So we'll round that to 8.5. So we have negative 4 plus or minus 8.5 over 4. Okay, and then again we split into 2. X equals negative 4 plus 8.5 over 4. And this one is x equals negative 4 minus 8.5 over 4. Okay, when we do negative 4 plus 8.5, we get 4.5 over 4. Okay, and if we do negative 4, if we do 4.5 divided by 4, we should get 1.125, okay? So sometimes it's okay to have decimals. Okay, and then we have negative 4 minus 8.5, so that should give us negative 12.5 over 4. Do that in our calculator, and we should get negative 3.125. Okay? Just like that. So it's okay if you get a decimal on this one. Okay, any questions, please shoot me an email.